For a long time, speed was treated as the ultimate competitive advantage. Move fast, scale quickly, launch before competitors, capture market share early and figure out the details later. Corporate America rewarded urgency, boldness, and rapid execution. Companies that hesitated were labeled slow, outdated, or irrelevant. In 2026, that mindset is quietly breaking down. Businesses are no longer afraid of moving too slowly, they are afraid of moving too fast. And the reason goes much deeper than caution or conservatism. The new fear is not missing opportunity, it is creating fragility. Modern businesses operate in an environment where the cost of reversing decisions has increased dramatically. In earlier eras, moving fast carried risk, but mistakes were easier to fix. Capital was cheap, regulations were stable, technology cycles were slower. If a product failed or a strategy misfired, companies could pivot without severe consequences. Today, fast decisions often create long-lasting commitments that are expensive, complex, and sometimes impossible to unwind. One of the biggest reasons companies fear speed is structural cost lock-in. Rapid expansion often means signing long leases, hiring large teams, committing to vendors, integrating software systems, and building supply chains. Once those decisions are made, reversing them takes time, money, and reputational damage. In a volatile environment, locking in assumptions too early is dangerous. Companies now ask whether speed creates optionality or destroys it. Too often, it does the latter. Technology has played an unexpected role in this shift. While digital tools enable faster execution, they also amplify mistakes. A flawed system rollout affects thousands of users instantly. A poorly designed automation process scales errors at machine speed. A rushed AI deployment can create compliance, security, or reputational risks that spread faster than leaders can respond. Speed magnifies both success and failure now travels faster than ever. Regulatory exposure is another powerful brake on speed. Rules around data privacy, labor classification, environmental standards, AI usage, and trade compliance are evolving rapidly and unevenly. Moving too fast can mean launching products or processes that become non-compliant within months. The cost is not just fines, it includes forced redesigns, legal disputes, customer distrust, and regulatory scrutiny that lingers. Companies have learned that regulatory cleanup is far more expensive than regulatory patience. Reputation risk has also changed the equation. In a hyper-connected environment, missteps are public, permanent, and searchable. A rushed decision that harms customers, employees, or partners can damage trust instantly. Apologies and corrections rarely erase first impressions. Companies now understand that speed without alignment can destroy years of brand equity in days. That realization makes leaders far more deliberate. Another reason companies are afraid to move too fast is internal capacity. Many organizations are already operating with leaner teams after years of cost discipline, automation, and restructuring. Moving fast requires coordination, oversight, and support. When teams are stretched, speed increases burnout, errors, and execution gaps. Leaders recognize that fast decisions without execution capacity create chaos rather than advantage. Supply chains have reinforced this fear as well. Fast growth often assumes stable sourcing, predictable logistics, and reliable partners. Recent disruptions proved how fragile those assumptions can be. Scaling too quickly can expose single points of failure, inventory mismatches, and supplier dependencies that only become visible under stress. Companies now treat speed as a stress test rather than a virtue. Financial conditions also discourage haste. Higher interest rates and tighter capital markets mean mistakes are more expensive. When money was cheap, companies could afford to chase growth aggressively and absorb losses. In 2026, capital discipline matters. Projects must justify themselves more quickly and reliably. Moving too fast increases the chance of misallocating capital that cannot be easily recovered. Another critical factor is forecasting uncertainty. Businesses no longer trust long-range projections the way they once did. Demand can shift abruptly. Consumer behavior changes faster. Competitive landscapes evolve quickly. When forecasts are fragile, speed becomes riskier. Companies prefer staged decisions, pilots, and reversible moves rather than large, fast commitments based on assumptions that may not hold. Internal accountability has also changed. Boards and investors are less forgiving of aggressive bets that go wrong. Leaders face sharper scrutiny and shorter patience. A fast decision that fails can trigger leadership changes, activist pressure, or strategic resets. This has reshaped executive behavior. Caution is no longer seen as weakness, it is seen as stewardship. The rise of internal performance metrics over external benchmarks reinforces this mindset. Companies focus more on margin stability, cash flow, resilience, and execution quality than on headline growth. Speed often undermines these metrics by increasing complexity and volatility. Leaders now ask whether moving faster improves internal health or simply increases surface-level momentum. Employee dynamics contribute as well. Rapid change creates uncertainty inside organizations. Frequent pivots, restructures, and rushed initiatives erode morale and trust. After years of disruption, employees value stability and clarity. Companies that move too fast risk internal disengagement, higher turnover, and cultural fatigue. Slower, more deliberate execution supports retention and performance. Importantly, this shift does not mean companies have abandoned ambition. It means ambition has been redefined. Success is no longer measured by how quickly a company can act, but by how well it can absorb shocks, correct course, and sustain performance. Speed is useful only when paired with control. The fear of moving too fast is also tied to irreversibility. Businesses now evaluate decisions based on how easily they can be undone. Moves that are reversible are encouraged. Moves that lock the company into fixed paths are delayed or broken into stages. This mindset favors experimentation over acceleration and learning over momentum. Small and mid-sized businesses often understand this instinctively. A single bad decision can threaten survival. Large corporations are now adopting similar thinking because scale magnifies consequences. The bigger the organization, the more damaging a rushed mistake becomes. The new reason companies are afraid to move too fast is not lack of confidence, it is clarity. Leaders understand that in today's environment, speed without resilience creates exposure. Fast growth can hide weaknesses. Slow, deliberate growth reveals and strengthens foundations. In 2026, the competitive advantage is not being first, it is being durable. Companies want to move forward, but they want to do it in a way that preserves flexibility, trust, and control. They choose sequencing over sprinting, optionality over urgency, stability over spectacle. The era of speed as a standalone virtue is ending. What replaces it is intentional momentum. Businesses still move, but they move with guardrails, checkpoints, and exit paths. They are not afraid of progress. They are afraid of progress they cannot manage. That is the quiet shift reshaping corporate behavior today. Moving fast is no longer impressive by itself. Moving fast and breaking things is no longer acceptable. In a world where mistakes scale instantly and reversals are costly, the smartest companies are learning when not to accelerate.